Hi everyone, and welcome back to this video in the Educational Futures video series. To remind you, this Educational Futures series is focused on unexpected, emerging, and innovative approaches in your professional work life, in your pedagogical approaches in the classroom, or any aspects of being a faculty member. So this series is really looking at approaches that maybe we haven't considered in the past, but that we might consider for their innovative abilities to transform how we think about faculty professional work. As a reminder, if you're interested in getting the most current and in-depth information about any aspects of LTCC teaching and learning, head to www.ltccteachingandlearning.com, one word, and you can look at the variety of information presented. I specifically recommend you click on the one-pagers. So the one-pagers are designed to give you insights about a specific area and really give you the roadmap of that area or content approach. So as an example, if you want to learn more about EVE or enhanced virtual education opportunities for teaching, click on that one pager. Once you do that, you can hone in your skills, whether those be video skills, skills focused on new approaches to teaching, or even learning the basics of Canvas. So definitely check those out in the future. And today's focus is called Stepping It Up with a Stream Deck. So we'll be talking about a Stream Deck today, but basically a Stream Deck is a mobile command center that allows you to take control of your online class in terms of maybe conducting a Zoom webinar. It allows you to organize projects and information in a much better way, and it just gives you much more control of your life as a faculty member here at the college. So the encouragement today is to really think about purchasing and using a Stream Deck in your own work. So to just give you the basics of what a Stream Deck is, and I have one right here. This is the XL version that we'll be looking at today. There are actually 3 versions I'll be going over, and so you can make a decision if you want to purchase one based on the price point, based on basically the number of keys available to do your work. And these are customizable screens that can actually have movement to them using some animated GIFs, and you can have an infinite number of nested folders, which allows you to do some very powerful things as we go through 4 main approaches today with the Elgato Stream Deck. So what I would call it is it's a command center that provides you with opportunities to take control of your work environment, your teaching, or any other form of virtual professional work that you might be engaged in. Now, in addition to this video, I really recommend 2 other videos. One is my video called Making the Most with Macros, which gets into using a Stream Deck as well as other technologies like keyboards for some powerful approaches in your teaching or professional work. And the second video I'm recommending is one on the live streaming approaches of a program called OBS, Open Broadcasting Software. This is a program that will allow you to do multicam setups. The multi-camera setup I have going on now is effective, but I'm doing a lot of my syncing of these videos in post-production. With OBS, you'll actually be able to work with some live videos and live camera feeds in real time that allow you to quickly customize your work setup. For example, if you're teaching an art class and you want to show different angles working with 2D or 3D art in your studio space, you can easily do that. A science class would be another opportunity to use multiple cameras. So definitely check out my video on using the OBS software system, which is completely free to use. Okay, so right now we'll get into why I think a Stream Deck might be valuable for you in terms of your professional faculty work here at the college. So I have 4 values for you to think about in terms of why you might purchase and use a Stream Deck. One value is the idea of control. A Stream Deck will allow you to control your work environment, allow you to control your software. You'll be more efficient if you're running a Zoom meeting. You'll have greater control over that Zoom meeting. The second value is really efficiency. We're talking here about saving time and reducing redundancy. I can get my Stream Deck out, I can open up one of my software programs like Final Cut Pro, and I have all these preset macros available for me that allow me to press a key and to do something that typically I would have to do using a number of repetitive keystrokes. As I mentioned in my video on making the most with macros, if you use a device like this or another compatible device, you'll save yourself time, frustration, repetition, boredom, and we often get bored working in these new virtual spaces that we are familiar with now after some time due to COVID-19. But the other thing is it can really save your health. I've been using my stand-up desk here as much as I can, and certainly thinking about carpal tunnel or other repetitive syndromes where you're constantly pressing a mouse or the same key time and time again is an important opportunity to really rethink your workspace. I've defined workspace or work environment in two senses. One is just the physical space around you with your computer, your chair, your desk, your standing desk, all the gear that you might use. And the second refers to your software and your technology that are also a vital part of that organic workspace that you're working with. So the efficiency, the time saving, the reduction of redundancy in your operations, whatever those might be in your teaching or your professional work, really do offer you an opportunity to think about this value of having a Stream Deck for your own use. Another definite value is organization. Because I can set up custom macros and folders on the Stream Deck, I can better organize my projects and save time and frustration all the while. And then lastly, we can talk about management. The opportunity to better manage your project spaces, to better manage documents, to be able to quickly pull up a website. I've talked about in my Making the Most with Macros video, the idea of doing live archives, so I can click on something like my teaching and learning website, and I can very quickly pull up any document I might need. I have a button here just for the faculty contract. I could pull that up. So if I'm doing a training or if I'm teaching my class in the fall and I want to do this stuff in real time, I'm going to be better organized. So the people that are participating in the workshops, the students in my classes are going to appreciate that because they're going to see that I've upped my game in terms of just being more organized and ready to help them through the trainings or through the classroom materials. And so a lot of values here in terms of using a Stream Deck if you decide to purchase and use one. So if you're thinking about a Stream Deck, there are three options currently available. I did purchase the Stream Deck XL, and that has the most number of keys, and that runs $249. So certainly it's not a small investment, but I argue that for what you get in terms of the power of its uses, those values I just described, as well as these two software pieces that come with it, which are totally free and part of the Stream Deck system, I feel like it's totally worth it. It'll pay for itself, I think, in the span of less than a year, just in terms of the time that I've saved. If you want to go a little bit cheaper, there are two other options. There's the Stream Deck Medium for $149.99, and you can count the number of keys to see the difference. And then there's the Stream Deck Mini, which has 6 keys, and that runs currently $99.99. So again, the choice is really up to you. If you don't need this many keys, you could certainly go with the middle version or even the small one. And it's important to keep in mind that because you can create infinite nested folders, even though you might run out of keys at the current time when you're touching those keys on the Stream Deck, virtually you'll never run out of keys, because the minute you get to a new folder, you open up all those possibilities of new functions. So if I open up my Final Cut Pro and I want more than the number of choices here, I can make a new folder and I can have infinite nested folders. So it's really cool in that sense because of the included software that gives you a lot of power to customize your work approach to the Stream Deck. And all you really have to do is take your Stream Deck out of the box. It comes with a USB cable. Depending on the version you get, there's a minor setup that you do with setting it up in a way that's going to ergonomically make sense for your desktop space. Once you've done that, you simply plug in the USB. That will immediately launch the software that comes with this. One piece of software is called Stream Deck. It allows you to customize your approach to using it in terms of all your folders, your live use, whatever you want for your archive or organization. And the other one is a custom icon creator that will allow you to create graphics and text that can be customized for each of the keys. What's really awesome about the Stream Deck is the fact that each of these keys is customizable. I made the point in my Making the Most with Macros video that because the Stream Deck has a more hieroglyphic or pictorial approach in terms of being able to customize graphically each of the buttons that you press, that allows a much more powerful approach to using keystrokes or key commands than simply using a keyboard where you have to remember all the key combinations and nothing is pictorial. The fact that this is based on an alphabetic approach versus pictorial is the number one reason why I say this really doesn't do the job of a Stream Deck. The Stream Deck, again, is a greater investment in terms of money and a little bit in terms of time learning how to use it, but it's so worth it once you get a Stream Deck and just spend even 10-15 minutes with it. So after you set it up on your USB, you'll open up either of those programs, and we'll look at those programs in just a second here in the video. So if you're wondering about functions and what exactly the Stream Deck does, again, it's really a command center for your desktop setup, for your computer, that allows you to take control of programs. It allows you to organize documents, which could be PDFs, anything on your computer, anything online. It can open up websites. You can even go in and program powerful macros using a little bit more software and know-how if you want to get into that. So you could do all sorts of customized routines and subroutines on your computer, particularly those that might be really challenging to do or take a lot of keystrokes, like taking a bunch of photos and renaming them in terms of the file name or something of that nature. You can also take control of software and reduce repetitive features. So as I've mentioned many times here, I can open up this particular set of key commands. Again, all of these are customized. I can put them where I want. I can choose the icons. I can choose where the layout is in terms of the custom Stream Deck keys. Once I do that, I will start using these, and over time I'm going to remember if I need to use a command in Final Cut Pro, that's where I find it because there's a graphic icon indicating exactly what it does. I press that and I'm done. The same thing with live applications. So if I want to click on my Zoom folder, and this is just my Zoom itself, so I press that and it'll load up Zoom on my computer to start a meeting. But then I really want to take control of that meeting because I'm managing things like chat. I'm managing the content on my PowerPoints and the stuff happening on the screen. I'm trying to manage participation of my students or my other work participants. So for that reason, I've created a custom set of Zoom commands. Again, I'm still working on these, but they are graphically oriented. So anytime I need to mute or unmute myself, I press the microphone key. I don't have to remember a key command. I don't have to do a bunch of menu diving, which is actually resulting in me losing time and losing control of my meeting. The honest truth about this is we're not at our best game if we're just using something like a bunch of menus in any software, because we're taking more time, we're fumbling around with stuff, and our students and our work participants will notice that at least indirectly or subconsciously. So it's another value of using software like this in terms of just taking control. And then, as I've said throughout this video and also my video on making the most with macros, I can organize any project that I want. I can have my teaching and learning materials here. So if I'm doing a live training and a faculty member says, oh, hey, where was that information to be found? I click on the key, I pull up that information, they have it in real time, I could share the URL with them. It's really just not a time saver, it's creating more efficient meetings, it's creating more efficient trainings, it's creating more efficient classes because I have total control of my environment, whether that's a piece of software, Zoom, something in Canvas, and so forth. So a lot of values in terms of the Stream Deck, and those are some of the main functions which we'll go through here in more depth. Okay, so let's jump in and look at these two pieces of software that come with the Stream Deck. Again, very useful in terms of taking control of setting up the Stream Deck for your own customized work preferences. So the first piece of software we can look at is the Elgato software that comes with it. I'm just going to click on that icon here. Again, you're going to see things here on the Stream Deck split screen, also live real time, to get a sense of how this happens so quickly as you use a Stream Deck in your own workspace. So for the Stream Deck XL, and this will work also for the other two smaller key set versions of the Stream Deck, you have this customizable software. The software has some options for things like OBS Studio. Again, we'll talk about that in the OBS Studio video, which will get into how to use a Stream Deck and other cameras and devices in one of your live streaming sessions. It also has commands for things like Twitter, so you could basically just drag any of these to the key. You're going to see then, so watch what happens on the Stream Deck key, bottom row, third from the left. you can see right now it has a new icon. So what's really cool about this is the minute you put something into the Stream Deck, into one of your key sets, they're called profiles actually, you can have a series of as many profiles as you want with your Stream Deck. Once you do that, it takes effect in real time, so it's instantaneous. What I can then do is go down here and customize things. If it's a website command, I could put in the website. I could retitle it, so if I wanted to, I could call this Twitter, and look what's happening in real time as we do it. Right there, right? It's actually typing it, and then it appears on the screen. That is really showing you the advantage of using a Stream Deck because of the customization and the pictorial approach to things, as opposed to doing a bunch of key commands on a keyboard where, unless you put stickers on, you can't actually change the layout or the look of those keys. That's the brilliance of a Stream Deck, is the customization and the pictorial approach that you can take to doing your software, doing your live sessions, whatever. Super easy to use, the Stream Deck software. Once I maybe want to delete my Twitter icon, put something else in there, I just hit delete, and as you see on the screen here, it instantly removes it from the key. So all of this is happening in real time. By the way, if you're using any Stream Deck, they recommend you plug it directly via USB. It's, I think, a USB-C, so I think it's the fastest USB. And do not use a hub. A hub will definitely slow down things and may create some issues with your software here using the Stream Deck. And so what I've been doing over time with the software is taking all of the various pieces of software, or if I want to have something like an archive for my teaching and learning stuff, I can have a key for that. I'm customizing these keys, and I'll talk about that using the key creator in just a second. But this is really the main command center, your workspace, to set up everything on your Stream Deck. So whenever you get a Stream Deck and you want to use it, plug it in, pull up the software, and you can start going with things. And there are actually profiles available out there. You can download custom profiles just kind of for fun. I downloaded this Pac-Man one. If I press this, it will turn my Stream Deck into Pac-Man. You're seeing it on the Stream Deck itself. You're not seeing it on the screen here. So that's kind of useless, but it's fun, and it shows you a little bit of the potential of a Stream Deck in terms of even having movement on your various keys, particularly those animated GIFs. I don't have a lot of those, but the Pac-Man one right here you could see is moving, and so that's a version of an animated GIF. So anything I want to set up, if I use a set of key programs or pieces of software, I can have all those on the top. So what I can do immediately is click on this key. It's already set up for my Outlook. I can immediately pull up my email first thing in the morning when I log onto my computer. And all I had to do for that was to use the command up here, which is a website command. So you pull this down here, and then all you have to do, and again, it populates it immediately, real time on the Stream Deck. I could title this whatever I want, and then I would put in the URL. I could just cut and paste that. The minute I do that, this is ready to go, and I'll show you those in the uses section here of the video, how this works in real time. But that was super easy to do. All I did was drag whatever type of command I wanted. I named it. If I want to customize this icon, we'll talk about that in a second. By the way, if you insert a program here, this is useful at looking at. If I want to open anything, whether a document or a program, I simply drag and drop the open function, and then I can choose whatever piece of software I want. Let's just look at one here and see a good one. I could go to my applications folder. Let's just say I want to choose this one. I don't necessarily want to, but and what the cool thing about it is it automatically populates it with the graphic. So it's just pulling the graphic icon from that application on your computer and populating it to the key, and it also is giving it a name. If I wanted to, I could override that, delete it, it's gone, and then I can type something else. So very easy to use. And if I want that gone again, I just hit the trash key and it's gone. You can also put in, using this program, cool custom features that you might find. A lot of these features are available just if you click on the More Actions tab in the Stream Deck application. If I want to control lights, if I want to have a CPU drag or usage one, I just simply click Install. Those are all installed, so they have uninstall. The minute I install those, they will then be available. Typically, they all flow to the bottom. And so some of these are quite cool. There are MIDI commands for those of you doing music work out there. automation for other programs. If you're using Keyboard Maestro, that's available. This one's very cool because at any time it'll show me. It's not showing me now because I have the program open, but it shows me my CPU usage, which is very cool in real time. This is an airplane mode icon, so if I click that, just like with your phone, it shuts off the Wi-Fi from my computer. Maybe you just want to do that for security or whatever reason. Click it back on and it's ready to go. This is a numerical counter, so if I do a training with my teaching and learning work, I can click that every time a person enters the waiting room or enters my space, and then I have a real-time count that will stay there. At the end of my session, I can log how many people attended my training. So there's a ton of stuff like that that you can just discover by clicking on the More Actions. All the time, people are creating custom icon sets, custom features. Some of this can be found in GitHub using a little bit of code work that's not too hard to do, but I do recommend using the app because the app doesn't require any coding in Python or anything like that. So the features I use the most in the software would be under Stream Deck itself. This allows me to create things like a new folder. Once I create a new folder, I click on that and all of a sudden I have all these empty keys available. And that's why I said all I have to do is keep making more folders, and then I click on that and I have another folder, right? So it is allowing me for basically infinite a number of keys, and I'm going to actually delete that, in terms of having as many folders as I want with as many key commands as I want. So you're never going to run out of keys. My personal preference is if you got a 6-key one, the smallest Stream Deck, I think it would be hard to use because in a real-time Zoom session, for example, you would only have access to 6 keys. I personally need a lot more keys when I'm running a Zoom session, so I would want at least, I think, that 149 version of the Stream Deck, the kind of middle-of-the-road option. But very cool to think about all the customization here. I can create a folder, I can create actions, I can do a timer, I can adjust brightness. Really, I found nothing you can't do with a Stream Deck. Again, as I mentioned, I can drag in the website and immediately have a website available, and just so many opportunities to use this Stream Deck in ways that allow for complete customization. So if you get one, we can chat a little bit more about the Stream Deck software, but it's really cool to use if you get a chance to check it out. So now let's exit that, and I'll open up the second software that comes with it, and this is called Key Creator, which I have here under my Stream Deck folder, which doesn't have that many icons. Again, I can add more if I want. I'll click on this. This is going to load up the program that comes with it. It's actually based on the web, and this is super slick and easy to use. So all I have to do is decide on, I can choose a customized icon they have below here. Any of these maybe, I could pull it up here, and it loads. And if I wanted to, I could add text on top of that. I like to put my text somewhere near the top, and I'll show you the reason for that. So we'll put that here. And I am not by any means doing a fancy version. I'm not going to center stuff and so forth. You can customize the font. You can customize background color. You can do a lot of things with the position. If I want to, I can click this key and I can load my own icon, which is pretty cool. There are some requirements for the image file. Well, once I do that, all I have to do is hit Save Key. When I do that, I will load up my key. And I'm just going to, for the sake of taking us through this tutorial, I'm just going to save the key to the desktop. It's called Stream Deck Key. Okay. And then I'll go back to my main program, which again is here on the web. And then actually I'm going to go back to my original Stream Deck program, the main customization program. And what I'm going to do here then is maybe I want this to be a particular website. I'll load that up, I'll type in the website. Then I'm going to click on here, Set from File. I'm going to get my custom icon, which you'll recall is located on my desktop. And it was called Stream Deck something. We'll find that down here. Stream Deck key dot, it's always a PNG file. Very small file, 11K, and that's to allow for quick navigation. You know, it doesn't take long to add it or to press the key. It doesn't take a lot of graphic memory to insert these PNG files. I click that, and immediately it added my custom icon. I can go back if I don't like that one, I can adjust the text and so forth. And what I've done on these, when you're ready to clear that out, hit clear all, and you can start from scratch. What I like to do on this is to actually create my own custom icons. So what I will possibly do is go to the internet and I will look for, let's think of a keyword here. Let's type in webcam icon. There are a bunch of free webcam icons out there. I will click on this. I find a decent image I want to use, like maybe this one. I could do one of two things. I could take a screenshot of this like that. And I apologize, what I'm doing here is I'm just going to save this as a smaller version. We'll call that test 1 as a JPEG file. Pretty small. The reason for that is when I'm working with my screenshots, I try to take TIFF files, which are like really large multi-megabyte files. So what I'm going to do is go back to my Stream Deck creator. I'm going to load up that file by clicking this icon. We call it test 1, and I'll load that up. And then you can see it appears here. If I want to get fancy, I could customize it. You know, I can change the background color here to get this consistent whatever, but I may actually want it down here or here and then put the text up top. It kind of depends on what you want to do. But again, I'll just put some text here. Call it test. And I can customize this and place it wherever I like. So we'll just do that. Once again, I hit Save Key. After I do that, I'll find my Stream Deck key. I'm going to replace that previous one. Okay, and then we'll load up our program once again. To customize this, I'm going to delete that last icon just by creating a new one. Load that up. And as you saw before, it immediately puts it there. So what is really cool about the key creator is that if you don't find your own icon that's a preset, some sets like Final Cut Pro, which I purchased, have these preset icons, which are really nice because it would take me a long time to source all these and come up with customizations. So you can purchase them. You can find them online with some of those custom profiles that are just simply found by clicking in the Stream Deck software, clicking on more actions, or going to GitHub, which we can talk about offline if you have questions about that. But I love the customization that's possible with Key Creator, so I think you'll find it to be a very useful piece of software if you decide to get into using a Stream Deck. Creating customizations, creating a specific text that you like and so forth is really, really cool. And again, to go back to the Stream Deck itself, you can see that I've done this with my own customized folder Lux. I have this, which has my logo on it. And then as I go into here, I try to customize it with icons that I've sourced or used in Key Creator such that things make sense to me. So if I want my one-pagers, I click there, and all I have to do is pull any of those up and they immediately appear on the screen. So I simply for these have the titles because for me that's enough. If I wanted to, I could take what you're seeing on the screen right now and make a mini icon of that and put it right here, and I may indeed decide to do that. So real possibilities of customization using both of the pieces of software that come with the Elgato Stream Deck. Okay, so in the video today, we'll talk about 4 main uses of the Stream Deck, and for each of these, I'll take you through exactly what I'm talking about. I'll show you both on the screen, I'll show you the cutaway of the Stream Deck in real time, and you'll see the screen video of what I'm actually doing. So you can really see the interplay of all the key commands I'm launching on the Stream Deck and what's happening on the screen with my software, with Zoom, with all my programs, and my virtual work environment. So the first thing that we can do with the Elgato Stream Deck is really take control of our applications and software, whether that be Zoom, our Canvas LMS, or other systems. We can launch them more efficiently, and then once we're in that software, we can actually take control of things and do custom commands using our Stream Deck setup. Okay, so we're looking at the first use here, and some of this I have covered in the Making the Most with Macros video, so a little bit of repetition, but not bad for us to go over this again since we have our Stream Deck set up. Do pay attention to how this happens in real time because I think it's really key. So my first feature here in terms of a great use for the Stream Deck is opening up software and launching it using various commands in the midst of using that software to make you more efficient and organized. What I like to do is have my most commonly used pieces of software right here, or it doesn't even have to be software, it could be a website. If I want to log on to Canvas, I press this And look how quickly this happens. It immediately takes me to the site. It will ask me to log in with my credentials. That's a security feature which is necessary in the system, so it'll take a second to load up here. And then immediately I have all of my Canvas sites available here on the screen. So quick to use. So then I want to check my email. I press my Yahoo email button and it loads up my Yahoo. And here we go. Then I want to check my LTCC, Outlook. It loads that up and that is available. So just a really easy use of things. If I want my YouTube website to load up, my YouTube channel, I want to immediately go to YouTube to find a video. It is available. As you can see here, it looks like mostly music software and zucchini fritters, which is probably part of my keto diet that I've been involved in recently. So it's just really cool to be able to customize this. These are my most used pieces of software or websites. I'm always on Canva, which is a great tool, by the way, for creating custom flyers. I use it for all of my designs. So what you're seeing here is I don't have to actually go in here and type the website and pull up that website. So much easier to do it all here with my custom keys. I could do the same for Twitter and so forth. Then I've set up custom folders, like I have one for my bio, which is blank now, but that'll have my resume and information. For example, right now for an accreditation visit I will be doing at Crafton Hills College virtually. They ask for a short bio and a picture. So I can have that right here and then it's immediately available. I don't have to dig for things on computers or a million hard drives that I have set up, maybe like you do in your own workspace. So really cool just for launching software. I can launch Final Cut Pro and it loads up and you see here, it's actually kind of meta here. I'm actually working on the video that we're shooting right now. And what I really like about this, so it's great for launching software or websites. Well, what about actually getting into software? Final Cut Pro, I talked about this in my macro video, has all these possibilities, but in order to use any function, you often have to do menu diving. So I have to load up here this, or I have to remember a key command, which might be different versions of the keystroke N. How the heck am I going to remember that? Again, as I've talked throughout this video, I don't think having a non-pictorial approach like a keyboard is really effective for particularly this first use of the Elgato Stream Deck, which is the command of software and using software effectively, ergonomically, safely, and so forth. So I will click on my custom set here, Final Cut Pro, and all these commands come up. So immediately, if I want to do a blade command, if I did it here, I could choose the blade and click it, and that's just splitting my clips up. But if I don't want to do that, or I don't want to go to a menu, do the menu diving, I press one key and look what happens in real time right where my cursor is or my timeline indicator is. I click this and it does it for me, and I've split my two clips into two. And I can undo that, ironically enough, using my Command Z on the keyboard, which is the undo command. But I would rather have these all set up here. Anytime I want to record a voiceover, I'll click that. If I want to zoom in or out, and again, watch in real time, look at the split screen. Isn't this cool? I'm doing this in real time. I either would have to go in and go to view and click zoom in, or remember the key command or zoom out. So every time you're clicking that, if I click that in one session, an hour session working on video, if I click that 50 times, that is a lot of mouse clicks. Whereas here, I very easily, if I'm right or left-handed, click with my right fingers or my left fingers. All of this is happening in real time. All of this is fully customizable. You could just put the features that you use in your application and only have those available. If you run out of space, go and do another folder. So I just love the ability at any time to just take command of my software and to make it more efficient for my own personalized use. The second use we're talking about today for the Elgato Stream Deck is live uses. So if I'm running a Zoom session, as I've been talking about, I can open up my Zoom portal that has any of the commands or features that I can map to those in Zoom. Instead of having to do a lot of menu diving, instead of having to go in and do things manually and remember a bunch of key commands on a keyboard that I don't really have memorized, I can have a pictorial version of that here on the Elgato Stream Deck. Particularly, I'm going to be saying for OBS, stay tuned for that next video in this educational future series on OBS, Open Broadcasting Software. Studio, really powerful to use. But what about for Zoom? So we can actually load up Zoom right now. Let me go to my Zoom icon, which is right here. Duh, it looks like Zoom. And I will actually start, let's just right now, we'll start my office hour immediately. And this will show you what I can do in real time. The value of this is you're taking control of your Zoom session while you're teaching. You know, there's just so much to focus on in a Zoom session that by having some custom key sets available here, key commands, you don't have to worry about doing things that would require you to go in. So I could go into here. I might have to go to my actual software, my Zoom software, to do some preferences or settings. I can click the mute button here, unmute. I can click video or stop video, start or stop video. So that's not terrible to do, but I still don't find it that intuitive to use a lot of these features, particularly if you have the chat room showing up and you're trying to manage whatever is happening in the chat room and you're trying to type, if I could spell correctly here. You know, there's just a lot you have to do in terms of managing things, multitasking things in real time. So what I recommend you do instead of doing all this, if you have the Stream Deck, is create a custom set as I've done here. I click on Zoom and check this out. I want to mute or unmute my microphone, and it's doing it for me. I don't have to press anything. And what I have here, as you're seeing on the camera, is a very iconic reminder. I could put on there microphone, I could call it something. I just have the microphone button because I'm going to know that's for me, mute on, mute off. I can do the same with my video. Video off, I want to go get my cup of coffee if I'm a participant in a Zoom session, and it puts my profile avatar picture up. When I come back, I press that button and the video is unmuted and the video is going. I also can do things like mute and unmute people in a Zoom session. I can do a variety of other things. I could take a screenshot. If I click on this, it'll involve me leaving the meeting. This one here, I think if some of these commands aren't working in real time. Oh, this one is the raise hand. It's a GIF of a hand raise. It's not working because I'm actually the host and I can't raise my hand in my own Zoom session. So we'll hit the end meeting button here, which could be either leave meeting or end meeting for all. We'll just end it. We'll go away from that. We'll go back to PowerPoint. But again, I think for live uses, you can't go wrong with something like the Stream Deck. If you have all these commands set up ahead of time, all you have to do is start your meeting. You can very quickly adapt to what's happening on screen, particularly if you have people Zoom bombing or unwanted people participating in your session. You can take control of that meeting and control those participants in real time using all the keys that you've set up customized for Zoom. So really cool for live use. And again, check out my video on OBS for more about how to use it with OBS. Now, a third use is archival work. And by archival work, I'm really talking about taking documents, PDF files, PowerPoints, anything you use for your class, and setting up custom folders in the Stream Deck like the one I have set up here, and being able to very quickly pull things up. If you're teaching a class and you have some key documents you use, you don't have to tell your students while you're doing a screen share to wait a second while you dig through menus and dig through folders in your computer to find them. So it creates the opportunity to create your own archives, and we often think of archives as static repositories of knowledge or information or documents. I'm suggesting to you today with the Elgato Stream Deck, you can begin to think of your archives in a live sense in terms of organizing documents, websites, any kind of macro key commands into various folders on the Stream Deck. And so if I want some of my key documents, like my teaching and learning documents, I can click on them here. I can pull up my website. As you see on the screen here, it immediately loads up my website. What if I want some other key documents? Maybe I want the faculty contract. I press one button, and look how long that took. A matter of seconds, the contract loaded up. If I was doing a training and someone said, hey, Scott, do you have the faculty contract? I could maybe go to my computer, I can type in a keyword, and then maybe I find it, maybe I don't. If I don't find that, I might go to the ltcc.edu website, and then I will type in here contract. Oops. And maybe it'll load up. I'm looking here. Okay. Oh, it must be under human resources. Okay. Let's see, bargaining contracts down here, click that, okay, and it's there. You see, it takes so much more time to search for it, to do all the typing, the keystrokes, the mouse commands. I can simply press this one button and the document is immediately there. It will always stay there, provided I don't change any of my settings here in my Stream Deck. I can also have my training documents. So if someone says, hey, how do I learn more about Zoom when I'm doing a training in real time? Boom, I click on that. They have my Zoom page. All I have to do is copy and paste this into the chat room of Zoom, and they have access to it, or I could tell them where it is. So all of this happens in real time because I've set this up. It is such an amazing time saver in terms of using something like this while I'm doing a training. I just tried it out in a Zoom session. It works absolutely amazing. So again, archives really often are thought about as static repository of documents, of pieces of material culture like in a museum. I like to think of live archival use. So I have an onboarding folder set up. I'm going to populate that with information when I do a live onboarding. I can also click on my projects folder. It'll pull up any projects I have going. Those are available if I'm using them. These are some charts and other documents that I have available. Even a YouTube video as well, which is the trailer for my Educational Futures series. So it's just really cool. And when I get tired of it, or if I'm done with the project, I simply go back to my software that we talked about earlier, and I would simply hit delete, and that is immediately gone. So I don't necessarily have to just continue to maintain what I have available. I can also here click on, this is for a Microsoft Excel document, and that just actually takes you to my work calendar. So it's another way just to have my own archives of information. It allows me to customize everything. I can have a projects folder. The stuff we've been working on with diversity is available here. So if I'm having a conversation about diversity, I can click on the Senate statement. I could click on the classified employees statement. I could click on the curriculum committee diversity statement. I can click on a live Google Doc that I'm working on. So everything is available. I don't have to remember a web address. I don't have to remember where to find this anywhere online. It's all available in real time. If I'm working on a music project, I could click on that. Just the sky is really the limit in terms of the customization that you can do. So I recommend its use in a live archival setting because I suggest that a lot of the stuff we do in real time with our students, our faculty, our work colleagues, sometimes we spend a lot of that time digging through menus, trying to find files, looking for things when we have it available here simply using the features of the Elgato Stream Deck. So a real valuable use there in terms of archives, whether static or live archives. And then the last real value in terms of a use of a Stream Deck is projects and organization. I've talked about this in the last use of the Stream Deck, but I can create all sorts of archives on my Stream Deck, and it allows me to organize projects in such a way that I'm actually more productive in completing those projects because I can find all the information that I need at any given time here on my computer. So anytime I start a new project, I can have a file, a folder available like I just mentioned with the diversity stuff. I click on any of those documents and then I can quickly work on those. I'm setting that up for my accreditation visit. I think I just made a folder here. I haven't populated it with anything, but this has the team sites for Microsoft, which is everyone on the accreditation visit to Crafton Hills College here in the fall of 2020. And then I could also click on this document here, which is actually not a document, it's a folder. So this has all the files that I'll be using, the team assignments, members of the team, all that kind of stuff. So what I do is I have a folder in a safe place on my desktop, and I do recommend that if you're doing this, to try to have one folder, call it Stream Deck or something like that. Always keep it on your desktop, and then think of that as a virtual drive. Anytime you drop any folder in there or document, it will always stay put. Otherwise, you have to go back through this. If you move that document, it won't load it up because it won't know the current location of it. So I recommend having that on the desktop. What I do is I have a folder right in the top left corner of my computer, and what do I call that? I call that local drive desktop. And so all that is all my documents for my Elgato Stream Deck, just so I know where they are, and then I never move those. Those always stay in one place, and then I can use them right here for project organization. So really, in terms of project organization, what I would recommend to you is to think about using the Stream Deck as a way of better organizing your life. You can take command of things, particularly as files, folders, and other things, images, videos, are all over the place on your computer. This will actually begin to organize your workspace and your own work approaches in a little better way, I believe, than before. So another really good opportunity here in terms of using the Stream Deck. So if you think about those 4 uses, I really hope that you'll think about using one or more of those uses in your own work settings, in your own faculty professional work, teaching, counseling, working in the library, advising students, whatever it is that you do, because this is really truly a time saver in terms of using it in terms of its full potential in your workspace at LTCC. And so again, just a lot of possibility here in terms of the various uses of the Elgato Stream Deck. So I guess to conclude some points here, you might be wondering, can you do some of these things without a Stream Deck? As I mentioned in my Making the Most with Macros video, of course you can do some of the things here without this piece of software. You can take control of key commands, as I discussed in that video, and use these. Again, the challenge of that is they're not pictorially based, they're not really hieroglyphic in nature, so as a result, it's not as effective. I mean, most of us right now have memorized that Option or Command C and Option or Command V are copy and paste. But that's over years and years of repetition. It's a lot easier to just look at an image, press that image, and that image executes what you want it to do. So what I would say is, can you do all of these things without a Stream Deck? Not really, and that's the point of this video and the point of really arguing for the value of the Elgato Stream Deck. And so another point is that while the Stream Deck is a minor investment, again, that ranges between $99, $149, or $249 for the top of the line Stream Deck XL, the value of its uses, as we talked about in these 4 ways throughout this video, could result in the savings of significant time, the lessening of stress, the upping of your game in terms of how you appear in a live Zoom session, your professionalism, and certainly basic things like your health will be addressed by the Stream Deck. If I am constantly doing menu diving or constantly pressing keys with a mouse, even with a trackpad, using a keyboard with the key commands, I am doing way more harm to my body, to my hands and my wrists than I would be doing a Stream Deck. The other thing to keep in mind is I can use the right hand if I'm right-handed for my mouse and other commands with my trackpad, and I can use the left hand to use the Stream Deck during my live sessions or work, whatever that happens to be. And so certainly you have a lot to consider. And so if you're thinking about getting a Stream Deck, reach out to me. We could start a users group or do some workshops about some of the advanced possibilities of using the Stream Deck. This video today was simply to introduce you to what it is, its values, 4 of its main uses, and to show you in real time the power of what a Stream Deck can provide for you in terms of your teaching or work environment. As I always say, if you have any questions about technology, about any of these topics in educational futures, you just want to reach out and ask me something about Canvas or some other piece of software or a teaching approach out there, connect with me on the website, send me an email. We can set up a Zoom time for a training and have more conversations about some of these innovative issues that I think really can impact the way we teach and the way that we approach learning and other faculty professional work. So thanks for listening, and I'll be back with another video soon.